Are Ouija boards evil? A lot of people think so, but just like any tool, it needs to be used properly to make sure no one gets hurt. In this video, I'm going to talk about what are Ouija boards, how to use them, and how to protect yourself from evil spirits and demons. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my paranormal channel. Today we are talking about the hotly debated topic of Ouija boards. Are they a real tool to communicate with the spirit world, or are they just a children's toy? Ouija boards are technically a board game sold by Hasbro, and you can get this at any Toys R Us. Many people say not to be fooled by its packaging, that it isn't just a game, and it can be used to contact the dead, and in some cases, entities that have never been alive, such as demons. How you play is by placing your hands on the planchette and asking a question and letting the spirit guide the planchette across the board, spelling out words and phrases. You can ask simple questions like, what is your name? But there's also yes and no and numbers located on the board, giving the spirit more options to communicate. It seems pretty simple, and it is. Anyone can play it. But there is some things you need to know before you play with an Ouija board. Pick one person to ask the questions. The other players can offer questions, but only one person should ask the board directly. First, you need to warm up the board by circling around the board clockwise. This demonstrates to the spirits how to use it. After the board is warmed up, begin with easy questions like, is anyone there? Or how many spirits are there? Towards the beginning of the session, ask how old the spirit is. If it gives you a number, this means it's most likely a human. This is because humans were alive on Earth, meaning that they have an age. But if someone replies with 0, close the session right away. This is because you are talking to a demon. Since demons are not alive and never been alive on Earth, they technically have an age of 0. So this is a really important question to ask at the beginning of an Ouija board session because it helps determine right away if you are speaking with a spirit or a demon. Another fact about demons is that they can pretend to be another deceased person, such as a deceased relative. For example, if you have a grandmother who passed away, this demon could pretend to be your grandmother in order to let your guard down, so you trust them and possibly let them into your world, or allowing them to possess you. Demons also like to pretend to be something that humans associate with innocence, like children, in order to trick us into thinking they are harmless. So if you see a spirit of a little girl, either when playing the Ouija board or in your house when you suspect it's haunted, be careful, because this could be the spirit of a child, but it could also be a demon pretending to be a child. So always be careful when using an Ouija board because you never know who you are truly contacting. So after you decide the session is over, make sure to end the session by stating your intention to end the session and placing the planchette over goodbye. This is very important because if you leave it open, then spirits and demons can enter our world freely, causing chaos in your life. This could lead to demonic possessions, poltergeist activity, and other hauntings in your house. If you want to know if your house is haunted, make sure to check out my other video on this topic. It talks about all the signs that you need to know if you suspect your house is haunted. If you don't close a session, you can't go back and close it. You need to start a new session and ask a few questions before closing it goodbye. This is the only way to fix it, so it's very important that you never forget to close a session. Let's say that closing the session wasn't good enough, and you had such a terrifying experience that you want to get rid of the Ouija board for good. Here is how to properly get rid of it. Theoretically, if you close the session properly and wrap the planchette in some fabric so it doesn't make contact with the board, you should be safe to keep it in your home. But if you feel uncomfortable doing this, here are some ways to dispose of the board. The best time to bury an Ouija board is right before a storm. Most people believe that you should bury the board face down and wrap the planchette in a cloth so it can't make contact with the board. Then cover the ground with salt and make sure none of the salt gets blown away, and this is why it's really important to do this before a rainstorm, because the salt can then get absorbed into the ground, purifying it. Do not cut or burn the board. Destroying the Ouija board in any way is a bad idea, and it can open up a portal to our world where spirits and demons can enter. To talk about next is pretty controversial, but I feel like it needs to be talked about, and that is of the demon ZOZO. Now, I know a lot of people watching this video have strong opinions about ZOZO, but for those of you who don't know, ZOZO is a demon who is said to communicate through Ouija boards. Now, he has appeared in many books, movies, and paranormal TV shows, and many people theorize he's the work of fiction and pop culture. But many have claimed to have encounters with this demon. ZOZO has origins in Mesopotamian religion under the name Pazuzu. Pazuzu was a wind demon that could protect you from other demons, especially if you were pregnant or a mother. Even though he was dangerous, he could protect you from other entities that wanted to do you harm. There have been artifacts such as necklaces of Pazuzu suggesting that people wore his face to protect themselves. Many theorize this is the origins of the ZOZO legends, and that it has changed to ZOZO with the rise of Christianity to make him appear entirely evil, in order to convince people to move towards Christianity and move away from other religions. From my experience, humans are very powerful creators, and we have the power to change our reality very easily. So it could be very easy for people to honestly believe in a Ouija board demon, and therefore it became a reality and came into existence. It is the theory that everything that a human has ever thought has become a physical reality in another dimension. I understand that this is getting a little bit off the rails here, but my point is, either way, there is a possibility that ZOZO could be real. Either he existed first, or humans created him collectively through our obsession with him in pop culture. But either way, you still could encounter him, and that's why you need to protect yourself. So, how do you know if you're talking to ZOZO? First, when you ask for their name, it will reply by making the planchette move between Z and O very quickly. Now, I know there's probably gonna be a few comments there saying that it's pronounced Z, but I'm Canadian. So either way, if it's going from Z to O really quickly or Z to O, if it's going back and forth really quickly, that means you're talking to ZOZO. He can also give false information to psychics, claiming that there are more spirits in the building than there actually are. He also likes to pretend to be other spirits, even multiple other spirits, in order to confuse you. He also claims that he is a small child who is afraid of another spirit in the building that may or may not exist. He does this so you let your guard down and you trust him and let him in. They say that ZOZO loves to lie, and he loves to watch people get confused by him telling them incorrect information. Which goes back to what I said earlier about you never know who you're truly speaking to when you're using an Ouija board. So it's very important that you're careful. Would you use an Ouija board? Make sure to leave your thoughts and stories in the comments section below, because I would love to hear your opinion. As always, my sources will be linked in the description, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss another paranormal upload from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.